Good morning, independent brokers, and welcome back to Elder Care's weekly webinar series. We are so grateful that you take the time out every week to be with us. As always, we want this to be a conversation and not a presentation, so please interact with us, comment in the box any questions or anything that you might want to share with the class. Feel free to comment. I am super excited about today's topic for multiple reasons. But before I get into all my excitement, I do want to introduce our guest this morning. So this morning we have Mike with Medico with us. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Very, very happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time. I know that you're in Vegas and that you're at the Medicarians conference, having a blast. Yes, spreading the word about Medico. So definitely appreciate you taking this early morning for you to talk to the elder care independent brokers about all the great opportunities with Medico, because there's quite a few, right? Now there's quite a few opportunities now. If you want to tell everyone a little bit about who you are and Medico.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm Mike, as Adrian said, with Medico. I'm one of the sales people or carrier reps, as you call. I have to warn you, like Adrian said, I'm on hotel Wi-Fi, so sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's really bad, and that also explains my lovely decor behind me. But quick nickel about myself. I've been in the market since '05, doing training education. Before that I was an agent in the field and all that good stuff. But yeah, based in Missouri, so in Columbia, Missouri. If you don't know what that is, you're not alone. And yeah, excited to spread the word about Medico, which we got a lot of new changes just in the past couple months on our products.
Right. Yes. Y'all have been constantly making improvements and doing changes, and we are trying to stay on top of that. So I'm super excited. I see a few more agents still kind of slowly jumping on. So good morning, agents, if you just jumped on. And this is why we do them live, so you can comment and communicate with us. And so let's get into it. I'm excited.
All right.
And well, just Mike, I ask my own questions.
All right. I will, yeah, any questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises, yeah, let me know. I'm happy to. I just lost my presenter screen, so I don't see any questions because I'm working. I was yelling at Adrian. I'm only working on one monitor and I'm struggling, so I apologize.
Sorry, I got questions. You just do your thing.
All right, so, oh, I went too far. So here's our, our opportunities with Medico. And one thing before we get into product and who we are and what's going on, we're very much a ancillary company, and I want to make sure that my clients, which is i.e. the agents and Adrian and her team, so to make sure that they understand that when you are selling ancillary products, you are basically the new human resources for your clients. And what that means is your clients are coming to you from a group employer situation in most cases. At least when I was in the field full time, that's what I saw. They all came to me coming off group or employer or union or something they were losing, but they've had for a long time. And if you take a look at their process, it's basically, they start with a new company or they go through their annual enrollment with that employer, and they're handed benefits. It's not, they don't have to go shopping. They don't have to worry about going out there and seeing what's available. They just have to open a website, at least for the past 15 years. They click on a website, everything's laid out. Do you want it? Yes or no. And so you got your major medical, yes or no, dental, yes or no, short-term disability, yes or no, etc. They didn't have to ask what's available. They didn't have to worry about meeting with anyone except HR, and HR was just, our responsibility is just to show you your options, and then we're done. You buy what you want. We're not worried about that. So they transition off of Medicare, they transition off of group into Medicare, and everything changes because HR is gone. So they have no one to turn to from the company, because if you call HR after you retire, they're gonna be like, look, you're gone. I'm not gonna worry about you. I got all these other yahoos to worry about. So they go to the market, and all of a sudden they have 30 different Medicare supplements to choose from, and 15 different Medicare Advantage plans, and 20 different prescription drug plans, and all this other stuff to get thrown at them, and they're lost. So they get from an agent, the agent's like, client's like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, I don't know what to do. And the agent's like, look, you got two options, Med Sup and a Part D plan or Medicare Advantage. And they're like, great,
Mhm.
I'll take this one, and everyone's happy. The agent got a sale, the client got coverage, and that's it. But the client may think that ancillary products aren't available because you didn't present them. So if you don't talk about dental insurance, they may not bring it up because they never had to ask the questions in the past. It was always presented to them. And if it wasn't presented, it was safe to assume it wasn't available. So the point of all this is to make it familiar for your clients and prospects when you're talking about Medicare and show them all their options, whether it's with Medico or without even, for maybe a product line we don't offer, let them know, hey, here's all your options, just so you know, because they've always had that presented to them. So you make it familiar, and the more familiar you make this process, the more likely they are to say yes to coverage. And what does the coverage
Right.
look
No,
like? What? Go ahead.
no, I was going to say, right. That is a great way for an agent to think, just to be on that train of thought that they're
Yeah,
the HR now. I mean, you made me panic
I'm
a little
partial to
bit.
it.
We have HR now, and I'm not worried about it right now. I just check the boxes, like you said. But you made me panic a little bit because when that time comes, I'm not going to have an HR. So
Yeah,
that
and
is
I
a
saw. Go ahead.
great
Sorry.
way for agents to think that they are the HR for our seniors.
Yeah, and I saw it with my own parents because when they retired, they're actually here in Vegas, where I am at the moment. They called me and they're like, "What do we do?" And they were just lost. And luckily, I kind of know Medicare, so I guide them through their options. But my dad asked me, he goes, "So what do people do that don't have a son in Medicare?" I'm like, "They freak out. That's pretty much what happens." So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. So
or they
though is kind of like agents, you need to provide all those boxes like HR companies do.
Yeah, and people expect it. I think agents get the notion that they don't want to seem like that proverbial person, like, hey, you want to buy a watch, or I'm going to force product down your throat. People don't want that, but they want to know what's on the menu. They want to, I've always said if you go to a restaurant and you sit down and the server comes up and says, hey, you know, what do you want to eat? And you're like, well, where's the menu? And the server says, well, just tell me what you want and we'll make it. You'd be lost. You'd be like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you have? What are my options? It'd be a weird situation.
Right.
So don't make it weird for your clients.
Right. Yeah. I do have some questions coming through, and I'm
Yeah.
just want to point out to Donna, like some of these questions, I'm going to wait till the end because I do want you to be able to cover the meat of the presentation, first on some
Okay.
of these.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I somehow shrunk the panel. I don't know how to bring it back.
That's okay.
I'm not,
That's okay. I don't even know that. I don't think that you can see the comments anyways. So
okay,
I
good.
think only,
Okay. Okay, I don't feel bad then. So real quick, and I'm going to go rather quick because it's a lot of this stuff. It depends on what state you're in, what's available, and pricing and such. So
right.
I'm going to go through pretty quick, and then if you have questions, comments, concerns afterwards, of course, the great folks at Elder Care will be more than happy to guide you the right direction. So there's our product line: MedSup, dental, hospital indemnity, and cancer. That's our four main products that we have to the market. So jumping into med subs, which is pretty run of the mill. There's all the states we're available in. The dark blue states are our new states, which is our new charter as of this year. And I'm going to talk more about that in a second. And then we have Utah way out there on their own. They still have our old Medicare supplement plan charter, so they have a little different pricing and such. But the rest of the country that we service, they're in this new, again, I say charter because we are going after the urban and suburban market with our rates. Traditionally, MedSup has always been the rural market, and MA has been the more densely populated or urban areas. So last year, we made decision as Medico and said, you know what? We're going to go after Medicare Advantage land, and we're going to go into the urban suburban markets with more aggressive pricing. And a lot of our partners are like, y'all crazy. Why would you do that? But it's been really successful. So if you are looking to give your clients a different option that's definitely affordable for them on the med sub side, take a look at Medico. And we have the usual FG&N plans like everybody else. Follow the same architecture as everyone else. But really, when it comes to our plans, we're going to look at underwriting because that's a big differentiator between all the carriers. And we are designed for stability. So we have 3 rate classes if you are doing underwritten case. We have preferred, which is about 70% of the people we insure that go through underwriting are preferred class. It's your regular old folks. Class 1 are the partiers. They're the ones that are eating steak and drinking bourbon more often than not. So we love to hang out with them, but they're a little harder to insure. And then class 2 would be smokers. So pretty easy. One nice thing about working with Medico is we are a smaller company, but when you call agent support, you're able to get in front of more people. So if you have a case you're underwriting, you're like, I'm not sure if this is going to pass or not, you could call agent services and talk to an underwriter and say, hey, here's my scenario. How would you look at this? So before you submit the application, it goes straight to client, and then it's hard to come back from with the client. You could call us first and have the conversation, and we'll work with you on if that's going to be something we're going to insure or something we're not going to insure. And I can tell you, we, and like every other Medicare supplement companies, are we strict on underwriting? Kind of, because we want a healthy book of business. It does nobody no good to have 15, 20, 30% rate increases because we have very liberal underwriting, and now we have super high claims, and we have to offset it with price increases. So we try and avoid that, of course. But that's our Mets up. Again, FG&N, it's the same FG&N everyone else has. We just have a little more aggressive urban suburban pricing.
Okay.
And of course, go ahead.
Do all turning 65 come in as preferred?
Depends. If they're smokers, they'll be class 2. And if they're height weight challenged, or if they have a handful of conditions that are not managed very well, then they're going to be class 1.
Okay, so turning 65 doesn't guarantee preferred.
No, I mean, because I met some 65-year-olds that look like they're 20, and I met some 65-year-olds that look like they are, 80. So
Right.
it all depends. It all goes to lifestyle. Like me, I look like I'm 80, and I'm not, so I get it. But
Well, thank you for asking that question, George.
yeah, thanks for making me feel old, George. But I'm just kidding. But when it comes to our hip and dental, we like to remind agents they're both on the scope of appointment, which I don't know if you've heard anything different, Adrian, but I heard, it looked like we were on track to have the scope of appointment eventually go away because, went from 48 hours to begin the appointment, and it was kind of on track, and it looks like it got reset.
Right.
So
With some.
yes, with some questionable practices over the past year or so, not from individual agents, because I think individual agents are where clients should go because they're going to get the most, the higher touch and better service. But unfortunately, we're in competition with some nefarious people. But
Right. Yeah. So
it's gonna,
don't think it's going anywhere either.
yeah, it's unfortunate. But I always joke one of the things about Medico is we don't do C or D plans, so we're not super up to date on the CMS rules, but we still follow them because it does affect our hospital indemnity sales. And then,
Right.
of course, you remind they're on the scope. But one of the things we're known for at Medico is dental. And we, as of 5/1, we have rolled out in more states our gold and platinum plans. And we're going to go through those. On the blue states, if you're there, that's our older plan. It's still a great plan, but we're eventually going to turn all those blue states gold. It just hasn't happened yet. I've learned that working for a carrier, it's working with the DOIs is like working with 50 very different children, and some are good to play with and some are not. But
Right.
if you're in the world of elder care and in that market, you could see in the southeast of the US we have coverage everywhere. So quick overview of our plans: 1889 issue ages, no underwriting. So if you're age 1889, you're in. No ifs, ands, or buts. we have no network of dentists, so you can use any dentist you want. The easiest way I tell agents to think about this plan is think of it as an indemnity style dental plan, because we have no network, and if you send us a claim, we pay it. We also don't coordinate benefits. So if you have a client with an MA plan that has $1,000 dental, but it's only good for cleanings and X-rays and maybe one extract or one filling, you could put this on top of it, and we'll pay in conjunction with the MA plan. So they could have extra coverage without worrying about, is the MA plan going to pay? Is Medico going to pay? You send this claim, we pay. Make it very simple.
Okay.
If you are applying with a spouse at the same time, you get a 12% discount on the spouse's plan. We offer first aid coverage for all dental procedures. So even the major stuff, which you'll see here in a second. And then we have 2 optional riders, which I'll show you as well real quick. So here is our gold and platinum plans. You have $1,000 and $1,500 calendar year maximum for benefit. The only difference between gold and platinum is in the basic services area, which is underneath that kind of greenish banner in the middle. Basic services for gold are 50-50, platinum's 80-20, and that's the only difference. So backing up real quick, the preventive services is 100% coverage, no waiting period, no deductible. When we get to basic services and major, there's a $50 annual deductible, and then you're done. And it's a calendar year deductibles, which our calendar year is January 1 to December 31st.
Okay.
So for that, you're going to get basic services 50-50 with gold, 80-20 with platinum. Again, no waiting period. If they need a diagnostic x-ray, which is a little more intense x-ray than the basic bite wings, if they need a filling or non-surgical extraction, which I've always said, if the same place that cleans your teeth takes out a tooth, that's going to be a non-surgical extraction. If you go to an oral surgeon, that's going to be your surgical extraction. And for the big stuff, the bridges, crowns, implants, root canals, and such, you're going to do 80-20. You're going to have 20% coverage for the first 12 months and then 50-50 then thereafter. So there's no waiting period per se. There's just a waiting for the full 50% benefit.
Okay.
And that's it. That's our dental plan. Now, a lot of the agents have looked at this.
Plans, they don't have to wait 12 months to do that.
Right. Now, one of the kickbacks or pushbacks we get from agents is like, well, what about vision and hearing? Where's that? We don't have it on this plan. And before you flip your table, be like, well, why would you take it off? When we were designing the gold and platinum plans, we went to claims and said, hey, what are we looking at? And they reported that 99% of all the claims we had were dental when we had vision and hearing on it. Only 1% of people use their dental vision hearing plan for vision and hearing, because we started thinking about it. If I can't see that well, I can get glasses pretty cheap. Heck, you can go to Walmart and get glasses. If I can't hear, I'm just going to turn up the TV or text, right? Or turn on closed captions. So I could live with a little hard hearing. I could live with a little blurry vision. But if I have a toothache, I want that done now. It's hard to eat my hellos when I have open cavity. So people were using that.
And there's a ton of stats out there too that talk about, how your teeth and your mouth affect your overall health as you get older too.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how the mouth touches so many other parts of the body. So, and that's important. So we focused on making sure, like you said, rather than have waiting periods and add vision, we just took out vision and made the dental side a little stronger. Now, if you're wondering, what does everyone buy right now? I think last stat I saw was 70%, roughly, give or take, of all the plans we're writing are the Platinum 1000. So the $39.79 a month, and that's for any age. So if you're 18 years old, it's $39.79. If you're 89 years old, it's $39.79. Nice and easy. And just a side note, this is actually a screenshot from the brochure. So one great thing about dental is that the fact it's so easy to write, it's also easy to sell because you just have the brochure and everything's on there. The rates, the coverage, all the exclusions are on there too. So one big exclusion is orthodontics. We don't do braces because they're hyper expensive. So if someone asks, you can just say, oh yeah, let me look. Up there it is. Nope, we don't do that. Very easy.
Okay.
So with the Platinum 1000, it's a Platinum 1000 plus a rider. So we have 2 riders. They must be elected at time of application, and you can pick one or the other. You can't get both. And those riders are the buy-up benefit. So for basically $12 a month, which is actually $11.95, they could add $1,000 to their benefit. But the one that we're seeing sold the most is the calendar year carryover benefit. And what that does is any unused benefits you have on December 31st will roll to the following year, January 1, up to $3,000. And we found agents in AEP last year, they were asking, so I could sell this plan in November for $1,000 maximum benefit, and January 1 they'd have $2,000. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. So if your clients buy it later in the year, they can carry over all the unused stuff. And again, and they keep on doing that up to $3,000 maximum benefit.
Wow, that is really impressive. I did have an agent ask if there was a money limit on implants.
Yeah, there is. I think we do 1 implant every 3 years. So just because implants, I think a cheap implant's $1,000. So implants are hard to insure because there's, dentistry itself is just uber expensive. And so we try and limit it. We also, quick note, just so you know, we also have a missing tooth clause. So if they're already missing the tooth, we won't put one there. We have to, so why that is, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we have our actuaries and our claims department work together to figure that out. They never told us, but I just want to let you all know that there is that missing tooth clause as well.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's dental. If you're in a blue state, there's a lot of information to go through. I would say just download this. It's very easy to understand because it's laid out, but you have a dental, a DVH, and a dental plus. It has different waiting periods, different exclusions, or services they're covering, yada, yada, yada. So I don't want to bore everyone to go through this. If you're in a blue state, just download it, and it's very easy to understand. It's just a matter of looking at the chart. So
Okay.
I'll spare everyone going through all the numbers because that sounds really boring.
That's okay. I'm most excited about the hospital indemnity.
Oh, well, you're in luck because ta-da, hospital indemnity. So we've had some big changes. There's all the states we're in. So obviously the blue states are in, the gray states, sorry, we don't have it. We are always working on expanding it, but again, working with DUIs and getting it passed is always a challenge. But the big thing, as of 6/1, so as of 9 days ago or 8 days ago, whatever the math is, we are guaranteed issue 64 to 67, and that's based on the signature date of the application. Because the question I got almost immediately was, so if I have a client that's 66 and they'll be 67 tomorrow, it's guaranteed issue? And the answer is yes. So it's whatever date they're signing, that date they are on that date, we will do guaranteed issue or not. And that also includes all the optional riders. We have a cancer rider, and which we'll go over here in a second, but any rider they want, they could get. Now, you as agents, it's important to know that there is a 6-month pre-existing condition clause. So as I've always said, you can't hit a tree and then go get auto insurance and expect it to be covered. So same thing with us. We're here to cover, any condition that you may have going forward. We're not here to, provide coverage for people trying to hide what's going on. And I would say about 95%, and this is my made up number, but a high amount of claims we come in are pretty standard. They come in, someone got sick, someone had an accident, and we pay it. But there's always that small portion of people trying to hide stuff that throw it off for everybody else. So we don't like them. But
right. But no, this is really great news.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the big news.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if so, you've got someone aging into Medicare, whether it be 60, 65, or if they wait a couple years, they could
Mhm.
add a household indemnity plan to their Medicare Advantage plan and get a much more holistic and complete care package. So what that looks like with us is this is the basic benefit. So if you get a household indemnity plan and don't add any riders, this is everything they get. They get household confinement based on number of days. So that's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, yada, 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 from $100 to $600 in $25 increments. So if they have and my advice, well, at least I did in the field when I sold hospital indemnity, was if I like, let's say a 250 per day, days 1 through 5, I would do 300 on the hospital indemnity for the mere fact that the hospital indemnity is going to remain consistent over the years. The MA plan may not. So if their MA plan goes to 275 the next year or 285 and it increases, they still have that 100% coverage with their hospital indemnity plan. So my advice to agents is just pad it a little bit because you don't know what's going to happen next year. And if it does stay the same, then they have a little extra cushion for maybe extra doctor visits or any extra prescription drugs they're taking. They have a little pocket of money they could use for additional, maybe unforeseen expenses. But so there's your confinement side. Our observation benefit is 100% of the benefit of the hospital confinement, and there's no minimum of how you have to be in the hospital. So some plans may say you have to be under observation for 12 hours or 6 hours or 3 hours. We don't have that. So as long as you're under observation in the hospital, even if you go in the hospital for 3 hours and they kick you out and they consider observation, we're going to pay 100% up to 6 days for the calendar year.
Okay.
The ER room benefit is 150. We used to have a clause that said you had to be admitted to the hospital within 24 hours. That's gone. So you go to the hospital, emergency room, you get $150, and that's up to 4 times per year.
Wow. 4 times a year?
4 times a year.
The base plan.
Yeah, that's all included.
Awesome.
Thanks. One big one we're pretty proud of is the transportation lodging benefit. If you have to travel more than 50 miles from your house to get treatment for hospitalization, you get $100 per day up to 10 days a calendar year to cover expenses for transportation and lodging. So just let us know, hey, I went here, my address is here, and I was there for 4 days. You're gonna get $400. Again, up to $1,000 every year.
Okay.
And then our inpatient is 175 per day, and that's 7 days per year, which actually, fun fact, well, not fun for the client, but we actually saw a big uptick since COVID on this benefit. So just,
Right.
in the past, when I was saying, most people didn't want to talk about mental health. It was kind of a taboo subject. So most people kind of blew it off, but we're seeing much more utilization of this inpatient mental health benefit over the past couple of years.
Absolutely. I mean, our seniors and then multiple people were isolated and alone for so long. That can take a toll, definitely.
Yeah, I've seen The Shining. It's frightening. So now we do have a household discount of 7% if they live with somebody 18 years or older. And again, this may vary by state, but overall, it's 7% discount if they live with someone. And I always joke that love doesn't have to be involved here. They don't have to be married. They just have to coexist with somebody at the same address that's a legal adult.
Okay. Good way to put it.
So, thanks. So our optional riders are, we have the ambulance service at 250 up to 4 days a year with a lifetime max of 2,500. This is one rider, just side note, that I always attach to the base plan when I was active in the field, because like I tell my clients, if you're going to the hospital, you're probably going to be taking the ambulance. Most people don't Uber or wait around for their spouse to get home. Hey, I'm bleeding profusely, but I can wait 4 hours. No, you're going to call 911 and you're going to take the ambulance. So, and I think it adds only a couple bucks a month. I think maybe $4 a month to the premium, give or take. So it's a very inexpensive and probably something you're going to utilize more often than not if you're going to the hospital. But the other ones, we have outpatient therapy and chiropractic. We have skilled nursing, lump sum cancer, which I'm gonna come back to, lump sum hospital benefit. So if you want to add a lump sum to your daily occurrence, we'll do a flat lump sum, outpatient surgical and urgent care.
Okay.
So of course, it depends on the need of your client, which one's best. I will say we've got a lot more interest in the cancer rider now that it's guaranteed issue along with the plan. So if you got a client that can't get a traditional standalone cancer policy because they were diagnosed, let's say 5 years ago with cancer, but now they're cancer free, they can get this as long as they don't have anything, as long as they don't have any cancer. They can't use, basically can't use it for 6 months. There's that 6 months pre-existing condition clause, but after 6 months, if they're diagnosed with cancer, they got $1,000 up to $10,000 of coverage depending on the level they pick. So it's a nice workaround for people that are concerned about cancer but maybe had it in the past and can't get a standalone policy.
Okay. Do these rider benefits vary per state as well, or is it all states?
Yes, some states don't have the cancer benefit.
Okay.
I don't know which ones off the top of my head, but yeah, and they, again, I've been with Medico for 6 months now. I came from the FMO world where, it was very easy to work things.
Mhm.
And I kind of never understood why they would design plans the way they do. And a lot of times it's because the Department of Insurance says you can't do that, or you can't do this, or we don't want that. And it's baffling to me that some states are like, well, we don't want the cancer rider here. I'm like, but it's benefiting the senior. Why would you take it away? It's not required they get it, but
Okay.
some DUIs are just goofy. So I don't
Well,
know.
Ken's in Texas, and so we'll get you maybe a state-specific brochure. That way you can see what all's available.
Yeah, and we'll talk about My Enroller here in a second, which is our enrollment platform. It will it'll see what's, because you got to put in the zip code. And once you start quoting out plans, it will automatically let you know what's available or if there are any limits to it. So
Okay.
yeah,
And
this
then,
is just a very generic, I think this is our national
right.
screenshot of our brochure. So it does get specific. And you can see if there are some quirks with some states, they'll also have their own brochures as well.
Okay. Awesome. And I did have an agent kind of ask about the guaranteed issue versus pre-existing,
Mm-hmm.
because I guess maybe you said that a little bit fast, but what can you
Okay.
kind of?
I say everything fast, Adrian. You should know this.
I know, and I was gonna try and answer it for you, Donna, like try and be smart like I heard it, but I,
Yeah.
I don't even
So
know, right?
basically, this happens a lot with guaranteed issue products as a whole. Um, what most companies do, including us with this guaranteed issue, is we will if something happened in the past 6 months and you try to file a claim for it, it's going to be denied. So, and again, I use the analogy of the car. If you are driving home and you hit a tree, hopefully and you're fine, you walk away from your car, you can't get auto insurance next day and then expect auto insurance to pay for the accident that happened yesterday. Same thing with this, except we look back 6 months. So if you are getting the lump sum cancer rider with this plan and you were diagnosed with cancer last month, we're not going to give you a benefit going forward. It has to be done. We have to be 6 months clear of anything. Now, obviously, accidents are going to be covered because they're accidents, right? There's no prediction for accidents. But we just don't want people, getting diagnosed that they need surgery and then running to Medico, buying a policy to make sure that they have the hospital indemnity to pay for it when they do go to the hospital next month. So we're going to look back and go, oh, you were good. You were scheduled to go before you got the policy, so we won't pay. And
So is
that's
it
just, that's pretty standard across the board.
right, right? But is it, to be clear, you can enroll in the plan, they just won't pay out if that
Right,
happens for 6 months. So they can still enroll, but
right.
if anything happened pre-existing within 6 months, it wouldn't pay out.
Yeah, so I mean, just having a good conversation with your clients, of course. Hey, in the past 6 months, have you been hospitalized? Have you been advise of any treatments that you should have, because the doctors are going to notate that and we're going to see it in their records. So
Right.
as long as like, yeah, haven't been to the doctor in 2 years, it's like, oh, well, guess what? Then you're in. Or if I've had something, say, hey, it may not cover depending on if it was 6 months, because some people might be like, it was maybe it was 6 months, maybe it was 8 months, I don't remember. And that's when we'll know, obviously, with our underwriting department as we process the application or process the claim. But moving forward, they would have coverage, or obviously for accidents as well, they're going to have coverage immediately.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I had to take out one of my earbuds because I couldn't hear you for some reason. So you're loud and clear now. Thank goodness.
All right.
All right. So last product we have is our first diagnosis cancer product. This is about as simple as you can make it with an insurance policy. There's our state's coverage.
Okay.
It's a lump sum options from 10 to 25,000, 3-question app, 10-year look back. So it's pretty much, have you had cancer in the past 10 years? A couple other questions, and that's it. There's a 10% couple discount if they apply at the same time. And then again, we don't coordinate benefits with this either. So if they have something else paying their cancer claims, we'll pay on top of it. So very, very simple plan. I've always said with Medicare Advantage plans, including hospital indemnity and with the cancer rider, is that there are 2 weak areas when it comes to Medicare Advantage plans. I'm sorry, I'll say 3. There's the high cost to go in the hospital, potentially, depending on the plan. There is skilled nursing, because you're going to be confined to a network, which could be good or bad, who knows. And a lot of my clients, if they never experienced skilled nursing, it wasn't a concern for them. And cancer treatment, because most plans are 80-20 when it comes to chemotherapy. And, chemotherapy can be very expensive very quickly. And the one downside of Medicare Advantage plans, and I'm not trying to dog them, I'm just saying, because this is the overall structure for the plans, is they always reset January 1. So I joked with my clients, it's great if you're diagnosed with cancer, you want to be in January, because then you have the entire year to maximize out your plan and then have 100% coverage for the remaining year. If you get diagnosed in September, October, November, you're going to start paying your 20% of your treatments, and then it's going to be null and void for your max out of pocket starting January 1st. You're going to start all over again. So if you have a $3,000 max out of pocket, it could very well turn into a $6,000 max out of pocket, depending on when you're diagnosed. So if you add a $10,000 cancer plan on top of it, now they have a $10,000 bucket to pay for that max out of pocket, to pay for alternate treatments that maybe Medicare won't cover, and naturally the Medicare Advantage plan probably won't cover either. If they want to go for that cruise they've always put off and say, I'm just going to sail into the sunset, literally, it's your money, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So it's that simple. And we've always said and just to give you some ideas, with ancillary products, you're paid to prospect. And here at the MedSup conference, or the Medicarian, I guess it's called now, I was talking to some mailers, some companies do mailers, and they said, dental plans are still traditionally pulling higher numbers than a lot of other pieces, because people understand what dental insurance is. Most people have it with their group or employer benefits. So as they see a dental mailer come in, it's like, oh, I know exactly what this is. I need dental insurance. I'm going to reply. So potential better response rates, it's familiar. And again, our product can be paired with other products. So if they need dentures and they only have maybe $1,000 to spend and their dentures is going to be $4,000, you will pay on top of their current benefit. So you pay the prospect, because as you sit down, you might be like, well, I don't want to just sell dental, but we're in lock-in. So if you meet with someone tomorrow and you're talking about dental, you turn that prospect into a client, because naturally the conversation is going to go from dental to major medical, because you're going to want to know what they have otherwise, what's going to be paying when they have dentistry or anything else done. So next AEP, you have permission to call them. Nice little way to prospect and get paid to actually sit in front of people with some dental coverage. You're also paid to protect your book of business, because as you mentioned earlier, if your clients are used to having group coverage, they're used to seeing their options. If you don't tell them about dental insurance and they find out from someone else, you may have just left the back door of your book of business open, and now you've got another agent with the dental policy, and you have another agent that has equal right to contact your clients in AEP or any time to talk about the dental coverage and potentially other coverage. So market it to your current clients, let them know they can come to you for dental. It's a great touch point. If you're looking for reasons to call your clients, high retention rates. We've all seen the studies where more policies equals higher retention. That's why Progressive has, we'll insure your house, your car, your ATV, your boat, everything. They don't just talk about homeowners and auto, they talk about everything. Because if you have 9 policies with them, you're going to stay with them. And let's face it, along those lines, I have never referred anyone to my auto insurance carrier because nobody cares. But if Mabel is talking about getting her tooth pulled and she's like, yeah, thank goodness I had dental insurance because, or thank God I had coverage because, it only cost me half as much. And her friends are like, how'd you do that? They're going to talk about that kind of coverage. They're not going to talk about the claim or potential claim of going to the doctor because that's just rudimentary.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So real quick, if you want more information about Medico and you already contracted through Elder Care, you can go to make.go-medico.com. The Mind Roller platform's there. We don't do paper apps. And if you're like, how dare you not do paper apps? I agree, but it wasn't my decision. However, when we made this decision, over 85% of all the applications we were getting were digital or electronic, I should say. And we just made the choice to go full digital. So we have the Mind Roller, which is available on iPads, on laptops, and as virtual. You can see all your reports. You can see your sales tools in there. We do webinars as well. And they're more deeper dive into specific products. All your brochures are in there as well. The quick reference guide is a great little piece to have. It's basically an overview of all our products. And I think each product's like maybe 2 or 3 pages. So if you want to see household discounts or a basic overview of the dental plan or our med subs, it's all right there in the quick reference guide. It's easy to download. We do have an incentive now through the end of the year for $175 for every underwritten app and $25 for any guaranteed issue or open enrollment app. And open enrollment being open enrollment for MedSup, not AEP. And then if you pair it with a dental plan, there's another $25 that's added to it. So if you want more information, I'm sure Adrienne has all that. If she doesn't, she'll yell at me and I'll get it to her. We also, I'm
We'll
back
put in case you missed an email.
Oh, perfect. We also have, if you go to, I'm gonna back up real quick. If you go to Make.Go Medico, if you go to your commissions tab, there's agent incentives, and we are working on a trip for next year. They laid out the qualifications. It's basically based on premium dollars. You have to have $200,000 basically of points in premium dollars, but like med subs, underwritten med subs are 1 point, but dental hospital indemnity are 2 points. So you can get there a lot quicker selling the ancillary products. And we haven't announced a destination yet, but it's coming. So as soon as that comes out, I'll let everyone know. We do a Tuesday talk as well in case you want additional information about marketing ideas and sales concepts, bad jokes. All that's available on Tuesdays with Medico. And that's it. That is our dog and pony show, as I say.
Yes, awesome. That pretty much, I think, covered everything I wanted our agents to be aware of. I do have quite a few questions that came through. So agents, if you still want to ask questions, go ahead and comment them. I know it can lag sometimes. I'm going to try and go through them in order. But thank you for doing all of that. I'm super excited about all of it. We try really hard to stress the importance of cross-selling and doing all of these ancillary products. If you want further training on how to sell these products, let us know. If you want to get more into Medico, please do their Tuesday talk. Please be looking into their products. And I'm going to slowly try and do these questions. So the first one I think is from Steven. And so he asked if they are able to use Medico info for advertising on their social media pages. What are they allowed to use? Are there any conditions for using social media content?
So good question. I apologize. I'm playing on a screen to get the sidebar back. So here's my advice. So here's my corporate answer, and then I'm gonna give you my answer as an agent to agent. So my answer for that is my corporate answer. We have a couple pieces in mic.gomedico.com you could download and use on social media.
Mhm.
And this is pretty much industry standard. If you put someone's logo, a carrier's logo on something, it has to go through typically marketing compliance for most carriers. And you can download their logos, and there's certain things you can and can't do to it, like sizing and coloring and such.
Right.
But me as now I'm putting on my agent hat. So as an agent, and this is what I recommend, and our marketing department hates me for saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If I am going to advertise on social media, I want people to be invested in me, not the carrier. Because as the markets change, as things happen, or if they have questions or they see something, I want them calling me, even for issues, because that puts me in the position to let them know they can call me for good or bad, and I can help them with those situations. So
Absolutely.
I recommend don't using any carrier logos and just do very generic posts like, hey, we have dental coverage, call us for details, something like that.
And you
Because
can even put like some generic benefits in there as well when it comes to these ancillary products. And
right,
Stephen, if you have an idea of a game plan that you're wanting to start blasting either all Medico ancillary or just a specific one, I'm happy to create you a custom image branded to your brand with your kind of wording because you want it to definitely represent you more so. So let me know about that, Steve.
absolutely.
Donna
Yeah,
asked if the Lion Roller works on Android tablets.
no, sorry. The problem with Android, according to our IT department, is there's when you're working with Apple, you're working with Apple. That's it. There's no Samsung or 19 other manufacturers. You're working with one manufacturer, so it's easier. It's a much more stable platform. I
Mhm.
will say, so I'm gonna backtrack on our Mind Roller. We actually have two right now. We have our old Mind Roller, as we're calling it, which does our MedSup, our cancer, and our dental. We are changing Mind Roller to be strictly URL based, meaning it's a website. So it will work on anything. That's what our hospital indemnity is right now. It's kind of our guinea pig. We're calling it Mind Roller 4. So if you go to Mind Roller, you'll see that there's the three options, and then it says hospital indemnity.
Mhm.
Now, if you're in the old Mind Roller and you pick hospital indemnity, it will automatically teleport you there. But by AEP, as our goal is to be just you go to the website, you log in, and you're doing an enrollment. So it'll work on Android, it'll work on laptops, it'll even work on your phone. It's a little bit small of a screen to do that, but it can work on anything that has internet connection.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is you have to be connected to the internet to use it because that's how we scrub the apps.
Right. I call this agent Jedi George. It's a long story, but Jedi George asked if it's just with MA or anyone. And I think this was pertaining to the hospital indemnity. And
Mm-hmm.
and we stress that, Medicare Advantage and hospital indemnity are the perfect pair. You should never
Mm-hmm.
submit a naked app is what we say. You should always be submitting them together. But that does not restrict it to just Medicare Advantage. No, George, you can write this. I don't know how to say it correctly, but you can write it not just with Medicare Advantage.
Yeah, ACA group, if they have nothing, like let's say they're 64 and they're waiting to turn 65 to get Medicare, you could get household indemnity. So you could have that and in the wings waiting until they age into Medicare. And that gray period of 62 to 60, 64 and 11 months where, maybe they're too old to work, but not old enough for Medicare. You could add ancillary products in there.
Do you know? So it's 60. So just the hospital indemnity plan in general, what are the full ages for that? Do you know? Because I
We go
know
down to
just
18.
guaranteed issue was 64 to 67.
Yeah, we go down to 18 and with our hospital indemnity.
Okay. Okay.
So any adult.
Okay. Well,
And that's,
I
I
would.
should say most states. Some states, I think some states still do the 40,
Okay.
from 40 to 60, 40 to, I think it's 40 to 80. So yeah, again, each state's different. I haven't memorized them all yet. I don't think I ever will because it's too many numbers.
I won't ask you to do that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
We did have an agent ask about what is the cancer-free determination by doctor or without treatment.
Good question. And it's so particular because it's what code do they use when they went to see the doctor. So is it a we're going to look at if they're being advised treatment, we're going to dig into it. Or if they're looking at maybe a potential cancerous situation, that's going to throw up all kinds of red flags for us being, okay, what's happening? And we're going to investigate that. And sometimes we'll even reach out to the provider's office and say, hey, what's going on? We're looking to insure this person. You did this, what's happening? So
Mhm.
we'll work with you on that. And we definitely want to make sure that we're easy to work with. We try to be. But yeah, there's no just saying these are the things that we won't take because it all depends on the codes. And I think there's like thousands and thousands of codes they could use for billing. So it all depends. But I would say I always ask my clients, have you had any cancer concerns in the past couple of years? And that was the question I used. And they say, nope, I not even a blip on the radar. Great, you're good. And they say, well, a couple years ago, is fine, not fine for the standalone, but fine for the cancer rider and hospital indemnity. So it's just a matter of feeling out your clients. I've always joked when it comes to underwriting, you have to ask for a look back. Like you can't ask a client, how do you feel or how's your health? Because they're going to tell you what the health is right there. Like my health is, I'm perfect, I'm great, I feel like I can run a marathon, but they won't tell you 2 months ago they had a heart attack. So, for us, that's whoa. But for them, it's like, oh, that was 2 months ago. That was like eons ago. I'm good now.
Right. I was going to move to the next question, but you did mention earlier in the training that you can call prior to
Mhm.
before doing an application and figure all that out. So Mark said this plan is impressive. What
Thank you.
states is it approved in? Sorry, I missed that part. So Mark, I will definitely get you the availability for the plans, or he's gonna pull
Yep,
it
there
up.
it is. Oh, that's cancer. Wait, hold on. The same.
Yeah,
There you go.
I
So
don't know
there's hospital
exactly
indemnity.
which plan he was talking about either. So
I'm assuming hospital indemnity because that's the one that most people are going towards. So
right.
there's our hospital indemnity chart.
Um, it would have been the plan that we talked about at 10:35 a.m.
Oh, I don't know.
I made you
Well,
look. Donna asked if
yeah,
Medico has a heart attack and stroke product, and that's a no. You just have the 4 products, correct?
that's true. That's interesting you asked though, because we went, like every carrier, we go through and refresh our products. Next year is on the radar for our cancer refresh,
Okay.
and that's one thing I heard that they're considering is doing a heart attack, stroke, cancer all in one piece, or a heart attack, stroke, adding that as maybe riders. But they are considering that, but that's going to be start planning next year, so we might not see it for another couple of years.
Okay. Awesome. Well, then, good question.
Yeah.
Uh, I did have an agent ask, is the guaranteed issue on the inpatient for all number of day options or only 3 days?
No, that guaranteed issue is straight guaranteed issue. In fact, if when you're putting them in the system to do a quote or an enrollment, I should say enrollment. So you run the quote, and they're like, yep, I want it, let's do it. What's going
Mhm.
to happen is when you go to enroll them, you're not even going to see the health questions. They automatically takes them out. So you're just going to go through the application process and you'll be done. So if they decide they want 10 days or 31 days of coverage,
Mhm.
or I think it's 30 or 31, I can't remember. But yeah, they could pick any amount and we'll cover it. Doesn't matter. Because we also know that the average stay is 5.5 days in the hospital, according to numerous studies. So most people don't stay in the hospital for 30 days.
Right, right. Um, Back to kind of that technology or the Android question.
Uh-huh.
Uh, she's just wanting to clear up, so she said. And so I think you're saying that once we get to AEP, we will be able to get to My Enroller by the URL and
Right.
say Chrome on an Android tablet. Or okay, yep,
Oddly
you're
enough,
correct.
I think they're maximizing it for Chrome because that's the most common one. But it's weird how carriers always seem to use like Microsoft Edge. I don't know why. I think it's because like that's what companies use is Microsoft, so this kind of embedded in that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I use Chrome. I'm an adult, so yeah, I think they are optimizing it for just internet. Period. And so, however you got to the internet, you should be able to use the MyEnroller enrollment system in
Okay.
theory.
I did have Stephen ask about dentures on the
Uh-huh.
dental plan, which I
Yep, they're
think
there.
was on there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's considered a major service. So bridges, crowns, dentures, implants, all those things are a major service. So it's 20% first 12 months and then 50-50 then thereafter.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Um, Victor asked, is skin cancer considered an issue?
I believe the melanoma, there's that one melanoma that's not covered. And I think
Okay.
that I always joke that's our Florida cause because, I've seen some seniors in Florida that look like they are, were reptiles, but because they're so dark and, they're more prone to cancer. So we don't cover that. Was it malignant melanoma? I think it's called. I don't know. I'm definitely not a doctor or anything near, but there's that one that's kind of excluded. But I think that's pretty boilerplate for most policies because of again Florida, Arizona, Vegas, where I am. They're out in the sun all day and they're much more um, prone to skin cancer, where it's not invasive, but it's much more common.
So do you have a, I know you said that you can call prior. So is there like a direct phone number to the underwriting?
There is, if you download this guide, the last page has the numbers on it.
Okay.
You could always get there through customer. If you call agent support, which is right there,
Mhm.
so agent support, and there's my cell phone number. You can call me, or the best way to get hold of me is text. That's my cell. I do advise though, I'm on the road all the time. So if it's sometimes I always ask for at least 24 business hours for me to get back to you
Okay.
because like in 2 days I'll be on another plane and next week I'm on another plane and then so yeah, I am traveling a lot, but our agent services, they can answer a lot of the basic questions. They're also domestic. Even for our customer service lines for your clients, you're never
Okay.
calling overseas. So if you can handle a Midwest accent, you'll be fine.
That is awesome. I know a lot of agents appreciate that.
Yeah, and if you could appreciate my sense of humor, you can call me direct. So, but again, always leave a message if you call me because like everyone else, I get the potential spam calls all the time,
Right.
and I'm quicker to reply to a text. And just because it's because I'm on the road. But it, I always say try agent services first, and if not, you can call or text me, or if you just want to send me a funny meme, that's fine too. Shoot it on
Okay.
over.
Good to know. Good to know. This might be one of our most laid back carrier webinars.
I again I say I got my insurance license in '03, so it's
Mhm.
been a minute, and I've been on so many carrier webinars, and I think they've gotten better over the years. But
Right.
I was like, if I ever have a webinar like that, I'm just going to quit the industry. If I ever get one like that, that's when I know I'm done.
Well, I appreciate that. And here at Elder Care, we like to keep it, to the point, more like a conversation. So having Elder Care and Medico, it was awesome. So thank you. very much. I see people kind of slowly jumping off. Thank you, agents, so much for taking the time to join us this morning and get excited about Medico, because it's definitely a name that you want to have in your briefcase and that you want to be pushing to your clients, or not pushing to your clients, but educating your clients on all of their options.
Yeah, unlike Adrian, we don't do high stress sales. So I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Right. I don't know what high stress means.
Well, because you said you should be forcing it or not forcing it,
Right,
but
right.
I also can't see you because every time my screen, I can't. I don't know what I'm
No,
doing. I'm on an Apple computer and I'm just lost. So
that's, I'm trying to switch it back. There we go. So
oh,
again,
there you are. Hey,
yeah. Thank you,
thank you.
agents. Thank you, Mike. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I will be sending, a follow-up email. And if you have questions, we're going to get those handled and provide anything that you might need. So thank you again.
Thank
Have
you.
fun and safe travels home from Vegas.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.